Caitlyn Clark just reminded the entire WNBA exactly who runs this league. In a devastating blowout victory over the Dallas Wings, Clark didn't even shoot well, but she completely dominated through pure basketball genius. The Indiana Fever have transformed from the league's biggest joke to its most dangerous threat, faster than you can say championship contention. And the catalyst behind this impossible metamorphosis? The corn-fed phenom who was finally unleashed after months of being treated like an unwanted guest at her own party. What happened in Indianapolis wasn't just a game. It was a declaration of war against anyone who doubted what Clark could accomplish when the chains finally came off. But the journey to this moment was darker than anyone imagined, filled with toxic drama, ego battles, and a locker room situation so poisonous it nearly destroyed everything before it could begin. Let's rewind to just weeks ago, when the Fever locker room had more tension than a family dinner, where someone brings up politics. The vibes were colder than Antarctica during a power outage. The chemistry was so non-existent, it would have flunked out of high school science class. Clark, the #1 draft pick and college basketball's biggest superstar, was being treated like a tourist in her own locker room. Veterans who should have been mentoring her were instead protecting their territory, like guard dogs with anger management issues. The atmosphere was suffocating. Players who had been mediocre for years suddenly felt threatened by a rookie who was already operating on a different level. Instead of embracing the generational talent that could elevate everyone, they chose to create an environment where excellence was unwelcome. Clark found herself walking on eggshells, trying to fit into a system that was actively working against her success. The irony was staggering. The one person who could save the franchise was being sabotaged by the very people she was trying to help. At the center of this toxic storm was Dana Bonner, who strutted into the locker room like she was the headliner at Coachella, only to discover she was actually booked for an open mic night at a deserted coffee shop. Bonner tried to be the centerpiece of a puzzle that already had Caitlyn Clark's name permanently engraved in the middle. It was like watching someone try to replace the Mona Lisa with a selfie and expecting the Louvre to be impressed. Her me-first mentality poisoned everything it touched. While Clark was trying to build team chemistry through selfless playmaking, Bonner was demanding the spotlight like an attention-starved influencer. She couldn't accept that her role had changed, that the future of the franchise walked through the door wearing number 22. Instead of adapting, she chose to undermine. Instead of elevating, she chose to tear down. Analysts kept saying the Fever should have traded Bonner instead of releasing her. But here's the brutal truth. She was literally untradeable. What team would sacrifice valuable assets for a player past her prime, whose biggest contribution was creating drama? The Fever didn't just release a player. They performed an exorcism. The moment Bonner cleared out her locker, you could hear the collective sigh of relief so loud it registered on weather radars. Enter Sophie Cunningham, the human equivalent of a triple espresso shot in basketball form. While everyone was busy writing obituaries for the Fever season, Cunningham grabbed the team by their collective jerseys and basically screamed, "We're not done yet," in their faces. She didn't just step up. She launched herself into leadership orbit with the subtlety of a fireworks display in a library. Cunningham became the team's unofficial hype woman, defensive drill sergeant, and locker room therapist, all rolled into one blonde tornado of intensity. When the team needed a spark, she wasn't offering matches. She was throwing Molotov cocktails of motivation. During timeouts, while other players were catching their breath, Cunningham was drawing up plays in the air with the frantic energy of someone trying to explain the plot of Inception in 30 seconds. Her most crucial contribution was recognizing that integrating Caitlyn Clark into the system wasn't optional. It was essential. While others saw Clark as competition, Cunningham saw her as the skeleton key that could unlock the Fever's potential. She became the bridge between the old guard and the new phenom, translating Clark's basketball brilliance to teammates who had been too busy protecting their territory to notice they were sitting on a goldmine. During practice sessions, Cunningham would be the first to celebrate when Clark threaded an impossible pass through the defense. "That's what I'm talking about," she'd scream, making sure everyone understood this wasn't just good basketball. This was evolutionary basketball. She turned appreciation for Clark's game into a team-wide movement, converting skeptics into believers faster than a cult leader with free snacks. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark was undergoing her own complete transformation. After months of being treated like a tourist in her own locker room, Clark finally reclaimed her throne, not by demanding it, but by earning it through a combination of resilience, talent, and the kind of work ethic that makes Olympic athletes look like weekend warriors. The Clark we're seeing now isn't just playing basketball. She's conducting a symphony where every pass is a note and every three-pointer is a crescendo. She's no longer the rookie trying to find her place. She's the centerpiece who makes everyone around her better. The transformation has been so complete that watching old Fever games from earlier this season feels like footage from an alternate universe where joy and basketball excellence were banned by constitutional amendment. Clark's leadership style isn't about screaming or dominating. It's about elevating. She doesn't demand the spotlight. She installs additional lighting for everyone else. Her passes aren't just accurate, they're prescient, arriving at teammates' hands before they even realize they're open. She's playing chess while the defense is still setting up the checkerboard, 3 moves ahead and accelerating. The team now orbits around Clark, not because they've been ordered to, but because gravity naturally pulls objects toward the most massive presence. And make no mistake, Clark's basketball IQ and talent create their own gravitational field. Teammates who once looked hesitant to pass her the ball now seek her out like she's holding the last bottle of water in a desert. What we're witnessing isn't just a team getting hot at the right time. It's a complete identity transformation. The Fever have gone from that team with Caitlyn Clark to that team with Caitlyn Clark. The capitalization isn't just for emphasis, it's to accurately represent the seismic shift in how they're perceived. They've transformed from a curiosity to a contender, from a sideshow to the main event. This team now resembles a sorority group. They're so tightly bonded that you can't find a single player who looks disconnected. The energy they have with each other is infectious. And ironically, all the outside discourse trying to create drama only makes them tighter. The statistics tell part of the story. Improved shooting percentages, better defensive rotations, more assists, fewer turnovers. But they miss the intangible transformation. The Fever now play with a swagger that can't be quantified. They walk into arenas like they own the building and the mortgage is paid off. The intimidation factor has completely flipped. Opponents who once circled Fever games as easy wins now approach them with the caution of someone disarming a bomb. And the beautiful part? Everyone is contributing. This isn't the Caitlyn Clark show featuring the Indiana Fever as the backup band. It's an ensemble cast where everyone gets their moment in the spotlight. Kelsey Mitchell is scoring with the efficiency of a German train schedule. Aaliyah Boston is protecting the rim like it contains state secrets. Natasha Howard is running the floor like she's been reborn. Let's be real. A few weeks ago, mentioning Fever and championship in the same sentence would have gotten you a wellness check from concerned friends. Now, the whispers have started. Could this team, this collection of misfits and cast-offs centered around a rookie phenom, actually make a run at the title? The odds are still long. The obstacles are still numerous. But something magical is happening in Indianapolis that transcends statistical analysis and logical prediction. The Fever are playing with house money and the confidence of card counters. They're the basketball equivalent of that scene in every heist movie where someone says, "This is so crazy, it just might work." And at the center of it all is Caitlyn Clark, smiling that Midwestern smile that somehow manages to be both humble and terrifying. She's not just changing a franchise, she's altering the trajectory of an entire league. While some players are still arguing about who deserves the spotlight, Clark is busy installing additional lighting for everyone. The Fever's redemption arc isn't just a feel-good story. It's a warning shot across the bow of the WNBA establishment. The message is clear. The future isn't coming. It's already here, wearing number 22 and throwing no-look passes that bend the laws of physics. The Indiana Fever aren't just winning games. They're rewriting what's possible when talent meets opportunity and ego takes a backseat to excellence. And that winning streak? That's just the appetizer. The main course is being prepared, and it promises to be a feast the basketball world won't soon forget. The Fever aren't just hot, they're combustible. And the only question remaining is whether the rest of the league has enough fire extinguishers to handle what's coming. Because Caitlyn Clark hasn't just found her voice in the WNBA, she's found her kingdom. And from the looks of it, her reign is just beginning.